It's me, it's Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. So, I was talking to a Scorpio today, and the Scorpio was very interesting because he's in a relationship with a male Aquarius. So that conversation went really good. And one of the things I liked about the conversation was the Scorpio reminded me that Scorpios have to learn how to deal with their moody emotions. Many Scorpios have mood swings. They're cool most of the time, but if they're irritated or something happens, they can be real moody and real stank, and they can really they can mess up a whole mood when they go into those moody phases. Me and my daughter argue about it all the time because she's a Scorpio, and when she goes into her moody phases and ruins an event or an occasion for me, I get really pissed. So he reminded me that Scorpios have to learn about, number one, to recognize when they're moody and how to, balance back out, I guess would be the word, how to deal with their emotions. So I thought that was interesting. And then right after that, I had an Aquarius guy who has a Scorpio girlfriend send me a letter about his girlfriend. And it was exactly the same thing. And I was like, wow, this is the day for the Scorpios. Aquarius and Scorpio day. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about it because he said basically that his Scorpio girlfriend gets moody at different times at random. And a lot of water signs deal with this. A lot of people deal with moodiness and attitude, period, but it's often attributed to water signs. So basically, what he said to me is that she'll get moody, and she'll either ruin an entire event or an entire afternoon or something because she's a little pissy, because her attitude's a little stank. And he said, or he will tell her something and she won't do it, and it'll cost him money, time, and attention to fix what she didn't do that he told her in the first place. So he told me that honestly he's getting tired of it. He's like, I just feel like we keep having these situations. And he said that it's the only real problem that they have. He was like, their relationship, other than that, has gone really good for the couple of years they've been together. But he said that this is something that really bothers him because a lot of times it either ruins an event or he ends up having to fix what she didn't do right. Okay? And the only reason why she didn't do it was because she had an attitude with him, so she didn't do it, or did it her own way, or something like that. So he said the last time it was the car, and they share a car, and he told her something to do with the car, take it to the mechanic, have the mechanic do something. I don't know the technical jargon for it, but it was something with the car. So he told her to take the car to the mechanic and have the mechanic check and fix whatever it was. They had a disagreement that day because she had been moody the night before and he had an attitude about it, and they got into a little tiff. So he told her about the car because the car was obviously making a strange noise. She didn't take the car, and then a couple days after the fact, he didn't even think about it again. He told her to take it, assumed she did, moved on. She didn't. She had a tootie-toot and didn't take the car. So you all can imagine what happened. The car broke down. So now who has to come get her and pay for the tow truck to take the car where he told her to take it in the first place? So they fought about that. So he said to me, I'm really getting tired of this. And I'm like, yeah, I can imagine. As an Aquarius, I would be tired of it already. And he said, I don't want to yell at her. I don't want, to treat her like my child, but she's acting like a rebellious teenager. And I'm like, the bottom line is that you have to talk to her. You have to communicate with her. She has, like the other Scorpio told me, she has to learn about her emotions and how to deal with her emotions and how to express them in a way that's healthy and productive and doesn't ruin entire events. That's something that she has to learn. Like all of us, all signs have something that we have to learn how to work with, you know? And those things can become a strength if we learn how to work with it. So one thing that Scorpios do have to learn is how to deal with that moody shit. You know, what do you do when you're moody and you're around people and you really don't want to ruin the entire event for everybody, but you're moody. You know, when I'm moody, you know, it is what it is. But see, when I'm moody, I stay away from people. I know that I'm responsible for the energy that I bring. So if my energy is stank, I don't bring it. And that's something that Scorpios have to learn. They don't understand what to do with that moody stuff. And their answer to the question might not be the same as my answer. Maybe they need to do something else, you know? But for me, I stay by myself and I work on my mood, which I think is pretty much common sense. So I told him that she has to start working on her mood. She has to start working on that. Whatever that is, she has to work on it. And likewise, I told him that it's not going to help to yell at her. It's not going to help. You know, I know he's angry because he just spent all this money on this tow truck, but it's not going to help to yell at her. It's only going to make her more upset. And that's only going to make them have more incidents. So I told him to really talk to her. Like they need to have a, you know, a heart-to-heart conversation, and she needs to know that this is something that's making him want to pull away from the relationship. I would be honest with her. And I noticed some people would say, well, you know, she might get upset, she might do this, she might do that, but she needs to know that her relationship is in jeopardy because she's not controlling herself. That's all about self-discipline. That's all about self-control. So she needs to know that. I would tell her. And if they do break up, at least she knows that that's an issue that broke up one of her relationships and needs to be addressed. Because an Aquarius will generally just not say nothing, just be angry, you know, and just not talk about the issue. But I wouldn't do that here because not only does she need to know, they might be able to work this out. Just because this happened doesn't mean it's a deal breaker. They may be able to work the situation out through communication and through talking, especially if this is the only thing that he really doesn't like. But he said he doesn't like it enough to walk away. So I would try to have the conversation. So if you're out there and you're a Scorpio or you're anybody who has, you know, emotional ups and downs, or you find yourself moody often, such as Cancer or Pisces or anybody of the zodiac really, I would just strongly suggest you work on it. Whatever is wrong with you, I'm always going to encourage you to work on dealing with it, work on healing it, work on fixing it. We don't come here perfect. We are all works in progress. So I'm always going to encourage you to work on it before you give up on it, before you walk away, if at all possible, as long as there's no abuse involved, because I don't work on abuse. If a situation is abusive, I don't even recommend working on it. But if there's no abuse involved, I recommend trying to work on it. And in this case, it's just a situation that honestly can be fixed. So, you know, the Aquarius is getting kind of fed up, and I'm just encouraging him to have these hard conversations. And if it doesn't work, fine, but at least have the hard conversations and give it a whirl because you care about this person. And like you said, nobody's perfect. The Aquarius was saying to me that perfection is something that people go after. And I'm like, but it's a myth. Perfection is a myth. You can't achieve it. You can be pretty good. You can be all right, you know, but perfection is a myth. Only the Supreme Being is perfect. Everything else is flawed. And that's just the bottom line. So in this particular case, and in your cases, if you have a similar situation going on, just remember that nobody's perfect. And if she's willing willingness is always the big thing. If she's willing to work through it, I would at least give it some time before I gave up. Okay? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you want to contact me, please hit me up. All of my information will be underneath this video. If you have a general question for asking Aquarius, please email it to me. I will put it on our list, our ever-growing list of questions. And if you want to get a reading, please email me and I will give you an appointment. Likewise, if you like my videos, please give them a thumbs up because that helps me grow on YouTube. All right? See you later.